On tonight's Fit to Eat, we prepare vegetarian lasagna with eggplant pasta and homemade tomato sauce. We pay a visit to the first legal distillery in Mississippi, and we keep the proteins in your diet without meat. And we welcome as our guest watercolor artist Wyatt Waters. Welcome back to Fit to Eat. I'm your host, Chef Rob Stinson. Tonight, watercolor artist Wyatt Waters joins us as our special guest. Wyatt is an award-winning artist, a musician, and he recently put out his third collaborative book with Chef Robert St. John called An Italian Palate. I'm glad you could join us, Wyatt.
Thanks for having me, Rob. Looking forward.
I think it's kind of fun because we're going to have a great time tonight. We're going to be preparing a lasagna layered with eggplant, not pasta, which is a low-carb, tomato, fat-free cheese, homemade pesto as used as a dipping sauce. And I tell you what, it sounds semi-traditional, but it's anything but traditional because we're doing it totally healthy.
Wow.
So this thin sliced eggplant is actually going to become the pasta sheets in the lasagna. So what we're going to do, I've taken the liberty of slicing quite a bit, and if you would grab that spray for me right here, this is a zero fat spray. We're going to spray these pans, get a nice little coating. We'll hit this one. We're going to do our tomato sauce in the back, and then we'll take our eggplant, layer them in the pan.
Oh, that looks good already.
And I mean, I could eat eggplant no matter what you do with it, you know? Eggplant Parmesan, eggplant, lasagna, it isn't that much of a push. And actually, it was funny. I know you spent some time over in Italy, and I spent time there as well, and I thought it was neat that in southern Italy, they had an eggplant lasagna. And that's really kind of where this idea came from for me.
Appropriate.
So we're going to put quite a bit in because this is actually going to be quite a bit more than just one portion. And it's almost impossible to make a lasagna small enough for one. You just have to have some fun with this.
Why would you?
Now, let's go through. And, I guess while we're getting started, I'm going to throw the onions and I'm going to throw the garlic right in with the eggplant. And, I've got to say, how did you get into doing what you're doing? Let's talk about art to begin with, because, unbelievably great work.
This is the profession that you most associate the word starving with, starving artist, So to be able to work with a chef was a real godsend. But truthfully, as you know, food and art are tied together.
Yeah,
in culture.
Absolutely.
That's a big part of it.
Yeah, it really is. And as you move around the world, you see so many different styles of cooking, kind of similar in the art world in its own sense, huh? I loved Italy, just the architecture throughout, too, huh?
Well, there's no explaining art, and there's no real explaining food. It's just to taste. It's to taste, you know?
That's right.
It's good.
Well, we have a lot we're going to do on this one. So what we're going to start now is what they would call in Italy kind of a shway, which I'm sure, when you were over there, they would do fresh, quick tomato sauce. That's what this really is. We're going to start off with about a half a teaspoon of oil in that pan as well. We're going to throw in about a tablespoon of our garlic, tablespoon of our onion, 2 tomatoes, and those are fresh. Pan's nice and hot. We're going to add into that a little bit of a natural tomato paste. Good part about that is it adds virtually no calories, so that's a wonderful thing. A little bit of black pepper. Got to get a little bit of spice in there. And then some crushed red pepper that we'll spread throughout to give it a little pep. Now, instead of adding in, say, canned tomatoes in this to do it quickly, we're going to throw in some vegetable stock and then turn that heat up on high. Now, we've been having some fun with the eggplant. Let's go ahead and flip all of these. That'll put the garlic and the onion right in the pan. And all this really does is get them tender enough that they'll be kind of pliable to use as our lasagna is put together. can see how most of them are
Oh,
brown.
wow, that's great.
And then let's, I know there's a lot going on. Today's going to be a fast one to watch, so guys out there, don't forget, mpbonline.org/fit-to-eat and Facebook. Got to go to Facebook. So you've got a couple options there, and the recipes are there. Let's turn this one over. And let's see here. And it really doesn't take long for them. Now, let's go back and get that back on the heat. Turn this heat up all the way. I know I'm probably driving the camera people crazy on this one. So I got to ask you, how did you come up with watercolor? What was, why the medium?
Watercolor chose me. It's a lot like this. It's quick, it's fast, it's in the moment. You get in, you get out, you can't go backwards.
Yep.
That's what I like about it. I like the things that people associate with problems, but they're opportunities.
Right.
Like this is fast,
Yeah, it really is. The Italians call it shway shway, but I think the thing with watercolor, wow, boy, that's got to be the trickiest that I've ever seen, because you make a mistake there and it's hard to come back from, huh?
You can trash it pretty quick, but that's the adventure in it.
Well, I'm going to move this one up front so we can keep an eye on it. Move these to the back.
Wow, that smells great.
Isn't that incredible?
Oh,
This one's
my.
done real well. We're going to throw in our basil and then stir this a little bit more. And now I may put you to work. You all right with that?
Indeed. Give me something to do.
All right. While this is simmering, going to let that kind of work. Now what we're going to do is go and make, a lasagna typically has got a ricotta cheese mix. Well, this is done with fat-free cream cheese and fat-free mozzarella. But it's got basically the same components, which some fresh chopped spinach, fresh chopped basil, and this adds so much flavor to the lasagna. A little bit more pepper, mozzarella, and then we're going to take this, our fat-free cream cheese. Now, here's the tricky part. Mixing this together, and it's just a matter of me getting this thing started, because what will happen is, and I think we can get that view. Look at that. And it's tricky at first because it doesn't look like it's going to mix. But then after it starts liquefying, it does. And you take 2 spoons so you can pull it off. And there you see that fat-free cream cheese. Keep mixing it together. And if you don't mind, that's what I'm going to ask you to do. You could kind of work on
over
that.
here and do this.
I'll move that out of your way.
All right.
Going to add a little bit more water to that tomato sauce. And let's just keep stirring it. You didn't know you were going to have to work when you came,
this is fine. This is good. This is like hanging out
makes it kind of
with
fun,
a chef. I love that. I love hanging around chefs. They're just...
Let me ask you, when you were in Italy, did you have a favorite area that you found?
Tuscany.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
Tuscany was great.
Isn't it, though?
It's the people were, they were farmers, and pretty frequently you'd eat something that was grown right outside the door, or drink a wine that was bottled right next door.
Isn't that the incredible part of it? I think a lot of people, if they haven't been, it's kind of hard to visualize all of that. It really is. So here we go. Let's take now a little bit more of our spray. We're doing the inside of the pan. And I'm going to layer that now with the lasagna pieces. And that, again, becomes the pasta. So about 3. Then we're going to take a little bit of that warm tomato sauce, about 1/3 of it, put it on top. And how are we doing over here? I think you're good.
We're doing okay.
Looks great.
You take a look.
Yep, beautiful job. Wow, you're hired.
Hey.
Wyatt's hired, man.
I have a
Look,
job,
hey.
finally.
I love it. Now, watch, we're going to take that and mix it right on top. And that warm sauce will kind of melt the cheese in between. Put a little bit more each layer. Now we're going to take another layer of the eggplant. So just basically like you were really making a lasagna, except the eggplant is actually the pasta. Save that piece. And what I want to do is place some of those great onions and garlic in there for the flavor. Going to do that in between each layer now.
Man, that looks good.
little more tomato. All right. Another layer of the eggplant. And we're going to be actually ready to put this in the oven. And we're just about there. So we'll be popping this in the oven. While the lasagna is in the oven, let's hear from our nutritionalist, Rebecca Turner. She shows us how to have a protein-enriched diet without meat. We'll come right back. We're going to have fun.
Strength is more than a term for gym rats. Regardless your age or fitness level, building and maintaining muscle mass should be a priority. Why? Because lean muscle is the furnace in which calories are burned and energy is stored. So without adequate muscle, weight loss or weight maintenance is impossible. In fact, studies show that we lose up to 1% of muscle mass each year starting in our 30s. Eek! But fear not, you can defy age-related muscle loss, specifically with the foods that you eat. Today we're going to focus on vegetarian protein sources. Why? Because protein is the only food group that actually helps you maintain and build new muscle mass. So you can start by choosing a Greek yogurt. Now I know that Greek yogurt actually comes from animal, but it's not the flesh of the cow. And actually Greek yogurt will provide you twice as much protein as regular yogurt. So just snacking on a cup a day and adding berries, you're going to get about as much protein as 3 ounces of chicken. That's a big deal. Another plant-based protein favorite are beans. Now, a lot of times we go to black beans, which are a great choice. But let's not forget some of the other varieties. You have garbanzo beans, which makes a great hummus, which will be a protein-rich snack. Or we have those red kidney beans that are often found in our chilies and our stews, or our famous red beans and rice. Without even knowing it, we're adding fiber and protein to that meal. So it'd be easy to leave out the sausage and you would have a great vegetarian option for dinner for your family. Now, another popular plant protein source is nuts. But I do want to caution you, the fat in nuts is higher than the actual protein amount. Now, there's still enough protein to be significant. You just want to make sure that you're only getting 1 serving of nuts a day. So that's about the size of the palm of your hand or 1/4 of a cup, whichever works for you. Now I want to introduce you to a superfood, quinoa. It's actually a seed that cooks up like a grain. As you can see, it's just sort of real wafy and flaky, and it comes just real small and tiny. But after you soak it overnight and you cook it just like you would rice, it cooks up super fluffy. And it's rich in all the quality proteins found in meat. It's important to maintain as much lean muscle mass as you can from your 30s onward. But even if you start later in life, you can still make a big difference. My best advice is to eat a variety of protein-rich foods daily, including meat and meat-free options. And if you do this, your meals are sure to be fit to eat.
All right, welcome back. Listen, I thought we had to, Wyatt, at least show them the finished product before it goes in the oven, because I got to pull that Pesto changeo and actually bring it as a finished product. It takes about 30 minutes. So let's go ahead. We're going to bring that over to the oven. And this is an oven set at 400 degrees, and it'll be there for about 30 minutes. All right, now we're going to work on our pesto dipping sauce. I know you had pesto in Italy, huh?
Oh, my.
I mean,
Yes,
I just
course.
love it. I mean, it is absolutely such a wonderful flavor. This is a healthy version. So very different, because you know pesto's loaded with olive oil, Parmesan cheese, pine nuts. So let's go into this. We're going to put in our spinach, and I use it as a filler along with the basil. All right. Now we're going to take and put, instead of olive oil, I know this sounds crazy, this is vegetable stock. And that's about half of what we want to start with. Now we're just going to kind of mildly pulse it, kind of get it all going around. All right, let's take that lid off and push it down a little bit. Very sharp blades in there, so we want to be careful, as should anyone else doing this. And instead of pine nuts, This is my little, as they say in Italy, my troca, the trick. And those are sun-dried tomatoes. And it adds kind of a neat nuttiness. And we're going to try and grind this up a little bit more. All right, and now, a little bit more. Going to turn that off. Push it down again, and look at that. You see how?
Wow.
Isn't that incredible? You see those vivid colors it gets?
Reds
And you get the
greens.
aroma.
Those are complementary colors, you know.
And
Red
now-
green, yeah.
Little garlic, little pepper, and to hold it all together, a little bit of our fat-free cream cheese. All right? So you got to tell me, while we're doing all this Italian, what about the new book,
Oh.
The Italian Palate?
We had a great time working on it. Italian Palette was 70 days I spent with Robert in Italy doing watercolors, 128 watercolors, and we put a book together, and it's Italian Palette. It was the most exciting thing I've ever worked on.
I bet it was incredible, huh? What a great challenge, too, because I don't think there's anywhere in the world that I've been where there is a better variety of landscape, buildings, coastline.
It's all about food. It's all about art. The
Yeah.
country is. So it's,
Yeah.
it was a wonderful way to pair this into this book.
What a neat idea. What a neat idea. All right, let's see how we're coming here. Oh, I tell you what.
Wow.
All right, here's where we're going to go. And it looks just perfect. There may be one last little portion. I want to do it one last, and we'll be perfect. It looks like pesto, though, huh? Isn't that amazing? Without any olive oil, without
Yeah.
any of the unhealthy.
That's amazing.
And with this, we should. There's a few pieces in there that didn't, but you know what? The pesto dipping sauce for the lasagna will work so well this way. And look at that vibrant color. Isn't that incredible?
Man, that's beautiful.
And it's really hard to believe that you could have something that tastes this good that's that healthy, you know? I loved in Italy how you ate what was from the region and places where they made the pesto. I fell in love with it. And I was determined that we didn't have to give that up to do healthy cooking. So this
Yeah.
is kind of a neat little twist on a classic, and it's kind of what we try to do on Fit to Eat. And I'm sure you kind of come across improvisation in art.
Yes.
We do it in our cooking where we want to try and say, well, eat this, not that. And that's really kind of the fun of it. But, you know,
It looks great.
I
It
think
smells
at this
great.
point, right, at this point, that's ready for the lasagna. We're going to have kind of put all this into another oven, and it's already done over there. So that
Magic.
we'll be bringing back. And, you know, if all this good food has you thirsty, Cathead Vodka in Gluckstadt has something to wet your whistle. As a matter of fact, they're the first legal distillery in the state of Mississippi, and I think that's great.
Vodka, from a business standpoint, is the largest category in distilled spirits in the United States. Still is, which is amazing. We've put out a honeysuckle vodka, we've put out a pumpkin spice, a seasonal offering, and then a fall offering, which is our pecan vodka.
As a local small distillery, we're always focusing on, when we create new products, is to create them all natural and no additives, and trying to keep the integrity as high as possible with every product we create. It's what most small distilleries go after, and that's certainly one that we try and obtain.
Well, we were looking at trying to use ingredients that are relative to the South and the Southeast, since that's mainly our sales area. We're more of a regional vodka at this point, being a 3-year-old company. And we, after we did the honeysuckle, we had played around with other ingredients, and pecan always kept popping up with so many pecan farms here in Mississippi. We ended up going with just a basic spiced pecan. So it has, our pecan has a little bit of cinnamon and a little bit of clove in it that gives it just enough little of a bite to make it really flavorful.
We've had a lot of fun things that chefs have done with our honeysuckle. They've made gelatos and sorbets with it. Kind of a staple cocktail for honeysuckle has been our honeysuckle lemonade. It's just a really nice, refreshing drink to have on a hot summer day. And then another one that's really been big for us is a honeysuckle watermelon cocktail. You can find over 100 cocktails on our website. Obviously, we sell our product through a lot of local liquor stores and a lot of local restaurants and bars. So we put a lot of investment into marketing,
And we're sold in 12 other states. It always kind of carries back and represents Mississippi. If you're drinking Cathead Vodka in Charleston, South Carolina, for instance, the conversation might come up about Mississippi. So that's kind of reflective on our own domain as Mississippi as a state. I believe it's all kind of spun off where we're from and our lifestyles growing up. I think it all kind of, you do what you like, kind of concept mentality, and that's kind of where we are and what we created our business around. Supporting your home state is something that you kind of have to do as a business. If not, then what's the point of doing it? I mean, you take pride in where you're from.
Welcome back. All right, obviously, I got to go get the lasagna out of the oven. Now, let's see how we did over here. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Isn't that beautiful?
Very nice.
That came out looking wonderful. Let's take it right over here. And now kind of a little trick that I have on this, and everybody can kind of do it their own way. I take a knife, cut around the edge.
Loosen it up.
Loosen it all up, and then shake it a little bit. And it moves really well. You can see where it might not, though. There we go. All right, so now what our goal is, take it underneath. Wow. Let's get this plate. I'm going to actually put it on the white plate. I think it'll look prettier. We'll have a little bit that'll come around the sides, but
Oh my.
isn't that incredible?
That looks and smells great.
And I tell you what, we're going to take a little bit and kind of sneak it underneath. Look at how that cheese melted so well, and then we'll clean the plate up. But really, it's about enough for 2 people is what we'd like to think. I'm going to take a little bit of a cloth and just quickly come around the edge. I saved some beautiful basil to go around the plate. A little bit extra of that fat-free mozzarella. And then we'll take some of this pesto. And I mean, as you're looking at this, it's got to bring back ideas of food in Italy, huh?
Yeah, this is fit to
I
eat.
mean, isn't that incredible?
That's
And it's just such a great, healthy version of a classic dish. You know, and I think you were mentioning how great the seafood and all was.
Yeah, there were a lot of things. And in Amalfi, there was this guy named Pasquale who was a fish butcher, and I was painting him on the side of the road, real hairpin turns and all. And he didn't speak any English, but he drank like a bottle and a half of wine while he was smoking a cigarette, cutting up fish, loved his job. But this gal came up, and she had, I said, do you know who this is? And they didn't speak much English. And I tried to do sign language. And I said, Pasquale, this is Pasquale. And she rolled up her sleeve and had this big tattoo, Pasquale, down her arm. So the fish butcher, everybody knew the fish butcher.
Everybody knew the fish butcher.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a look at the nutritional value. Calories, 327. Carbohydrates, 25. Protein, 28 grams. And saturated fat, 8 grams. I would like to thank our guest, Wyatt Waters, for joining us tonight on the show. And if you're interested in any of the recipes you saw in tonight's show, visit the webpage at mpbonline.org/fit-to-eat or go to the Facebook page, MPB Fit to Eat. So until next time, I'm Chef Rob Stinson. Eat well.
Thanks for having me, Rob.